A very good evening and welcome to UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Chomjasha, on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda today, this very evening. We start off with the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, who has met and held discussions with a delegation from Planet One Group, which is a global and diversified organization interested in investing Uganda's education sector. The five-man team from Planet One Group, led by its founder and chairman, Shanji Mansontra, called on the First Lady at State House in Nakasero, I beg your pardon, and were accompanied by Andrew Mwende, founder and managing director of the Independent Publications Limited. During the meeting, Planet One Group's delegation presented a detailed proposal of holistic education transformation that they would like to implement in Uganda. They particularly desired to focus on technical and vocational education training and the science, technology, engineering and mathematics schools. The approach involves the organization mobilizing funds internationally, which it uses to support infrastructure development and transport tools and equipment, curriculum alignment, content and courseware, teacher capacity building and training and technology solutions. Government is expected to pay back the funds over a period of 15 to 18 years at a low interest rate of about 1.5%. Janet Museveni welcomed Planet One's proposal, saying it is something that the country needs, and she said that TVET institutes across the country still lack hands-on trained personnel, and what is urgently required is the training of the instructors and equipping of the institutes. She, however, pointed out the need for the Ministry of Education to first conduct a technical assessment on the specific needs in the STEM and TVET fields and the cost implications of the scope and scale of the work that the Planet One Group could undertake to build, equip and skill. President Yoweri Museveni has challenged authorities of the Uganda Prison Service to make use of recruited engineers for development and essential infrastructures. Museveni says by doing so, social and economic amenities, including housing, will be affordably constructed, hence minimizing wastage of public resources. This was during the pass out of the prison's officers at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, where the head of state agreed with the idea of separating armed forces from civil service. Take a look.
After months of perseverance, weeks of endurance, and days of firmness, the time for them to officially serve finally came. The morale with which they marched to the parade grounds speaks volumes. But what could have been their motivation towards successfully reaching this day? The secret is in one word: commitment. To see for himself this kind of commitment was President Yoweri Museveni. Museveni, who inspected the guards upon arrival, was impressed. He appealed for healthy living and patriotism.
You need to be healthy, and you need to avoid all elements that destroy health. Number two, knowledge. The knowledge you have got here and the knowledge you will get in more training and the knowledge you will get through reading. And then finally, patriotism.
It is this similar patriotism that Museveni wants the prison service to interest the newly recruited engineers into embracing.
Why don't you use the engineers whom you have to build your own barracks and offices, so that the only expenditure is on materials? Because remember, when we involve so-called private sector, I really don't want to hear private sector in the armed forces. Private sector doing what? You have engineers, they know how to build. What they need is materials.
Of the just passed out cadets, 9 are engineers, 5 are medical personnel, while 16 are agricultural officers. The Commissioner General Uganda Prison Service, Dr. Johnson Wiabashaija, says this is a big boost to the prison's engineering department.
We are building in Amolata. It is a general offensive against congestion, as you guided, Your Excellency. Over the last few months, we have reduced congestion by 10%, from 372% to 362%.
So, if you have this engineer, why don't you pay her or him well? Because we need him, we need her now. Yes, the historian will also be paid when we have enough money to pay both the one we need immediately and this literature man, Yoweri Museveni, who knows what Shakespeare said, who knows what. Okay, thank you very much. You are very clever. You can remember. But we want a building. We don't want Shakespeare.
The pass out of these new prisons officers comes in the wake of terrorism threats that the country has recently witnessed. Museveni wants fingerprinting of all guns and embracing of electronic number plates.
But I hear somehow they did not include the army. But why not the army? I have directed that all the army guns must be fingerprinted like all the others were fingerprinted. They can be kept separately, maybe under military police, but they should be fingerprinted. Every gun should be fingerprinted. Now I am insisting on the issue of the electronic number plates. That will be a very big blow to crime. Because most of the people move to and from the scene of crime by either vehicle or a border.
As for the Minister of Internal Affairs, Major General Kahinda Otafire, it is high time armed forces were separated from civil service, something Museveni agrees with.
We have agreed with my colleagues that we should rewrite the modus operandi and operational procedures and habituation for the police and the prisoners. These are armed services. They are not traditional civil servants, because now a police officer can go away and you can't charge him with desertion. He can't be at war. The police officer can go away and take leave without pay. Now how do you maintain command and control of prison officers and police officers, armed people who are dealing with national security, being treated as ordinary civil servants?
But definitely the police and prisons are not civil service. But this is part of the colonial hangover, which we still have. We have got so many things which I just watch, and even if I don't act, but you can see that there is something funny. So I'm glad that you have noticed this one, and we definitely will take it up. They are definitely part of the armed forces.
The newly passed out prisons officers have been told to embrace responsible lifestyles.
I would urge you to continue correcting them as they go out in the field. Don't be too fast to condemn them. Mold them into the officers that you want them to be. In short, I would say take them under your wing and be their mentors as they come to you.
They are 2,234 in number, including cadet assistant superintendent of prisons, cadet principal officers, as well as warders and wardresses. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Chairperson MK Mobilizes Western Uganda, Polika Twide, has assured ghetto youths in Mbarara of support which will help them to fulfill their dreams in life. This was during a get-together meeting between MK movement leaders of Western region and the ghetto youths in Mbarara. Take a look.
MK Movement Western Chairperson Polika Twide says leaders will soon meet ghetto youths to identify their challenges, with those already skilled in technical studies like welding, tailoring, carpentry, among others, identified and supported. The ghetto youth representatives expressed their need for support like recording studios, skilling centers and workshops that will help them live a considerate lifestyle.
Tukubira government omulanga etudukirire si buli muvubuka ali mu ghetto kwagira Bobi Wine betuli bavubuka bekoledde obusente bwaffe mu ghetto era nga twetaddemu okuva turulede kukora nabo turulede kuba mobilizinga tukabasensitizinga tukamakinga sure ng'omubiro burukwiza aba bantu nabo ghetto bajergamu bayegita omu NRM ningo mu kibiine kirabe kiri mu government ekyona.
The youth also committed support to the national resistance movement, which they tasked to improve programs like parish development model and Emyooga.
Cervical cancer has been cited as one of the most dangerous cancers in Uganda, leading to many deaths of women. A senior gynecologist, oncologist and president of gynecologists in Uganda, Othniel Musana, has now cautioned women to have regulated number of children and go for early screening. Musana was speaking at the closure of a 3-day medical expo in Lugogo, Kampala.
Uganda has one of the highest cervical cancer incident rates, standing at 3.6%. This is largely attributed to low screening uptake and increased fertility among women.
The number one cancer in Uganda and also the biggest killer among cancers, which is cervical cancer, and that only affects women. Cervical cancer, of course, as we grow older, it is an infection-based cancer and is caused by an infection called HPV, a virus acquired sexually. However, HPV alone does not cause cervical cancer, but it must be present for you to have the cancer. So women who, have a very high fertility rate, over 5 children over a woman's lifetime, and already the 5 is too many. So delivery and increased fertility may also increase our risks for cancers of women. So the message is that we also need to control the number of births that we have, alongside programs like screening and vaccination of our young girls.
Dr. Musan explains that at birth, a mother exposes the largest part of her cervix to the vaginal environment, which is acidic, and in the long run, chances of cancer get higher.
When you're pregnant and when you give birth, you expose a large part of your cervix, or the cells of the cervix, to the vaginal environment, which is acidic. The acid starts destroying those cells, and those cells, to survive, they try to change their structure. And in changing their structure, because a lot of them have been exposed to an unnatural environment, they will tend to become cancerous. So the more you expose these cells of the cervix with childbirth, then of course the risk for cancer also becomes higher.
Apart from screening and vaccination against cervical cancer, women are advised to have fewer spaced children.
For women, we would still encourage them to have planned families. Planned families means that if you have fewer children, then of course even your risk for cancer will reduce. But at the same time, if you also space them, then it's likely that as you go for the services like family planning services, services for immunization, then you likely also get screened for the cervical cancer as per the government policy.
The Medical Expo 2023 was a knowledge-sharing session where masses flocked in and got a lot of information about the treatment of various diseases and how some could be prevented. The doctors plan to extend these health services to various institutions, which include schools and places of worship.
I believe that people have got information about how to prevent these diseases because people have been asking them questions, and I believe that people have gotten the help that they wanted from the different health institutions that came to showcase their services. However, we have a phase 3 where we're going to go into the community, we're going to go into churches, we're going to go to mosques, community centers, markets, schools, and increase on the knowledge people have about health so they can make better informed decisions about their health.
Anyone from Kes?
Moving on from that, Namirembe Diocese has held a religions convention led by the Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, the Right Reverend Buba Foschichol Walida, and his South Ankwale Diocese counterpart, the Right Reverend Nathan Ahimbisiwe, as the main preachers. The Bishop of South Ankwale Diocese, the Right Reverend Nathan Ahimbisiwe, was the guest preacher. Details follow.
Namirembe Diocese Christians and friends have been blessed with the word of God from 2 bishops and entertainment from choirs from parishes under Namirembe Diocese. The Bishop of South Ankwale Diocese, the Right Reverend Nathan Ahimbisiwe, explained that once people embrace the gospel, they can never be the same.
Around you today, come and listen to this gospel. You will never remain the same. You're going to go change. What is going to make a new plan for you? We hear God's word. But there is a moment when you listen to the word, it changes all the plans you have. It aligns you rightly. And you move on.
Bishop Ahimbisiwe says there are many challenges in leadership which need leaders to abide by the word of God.
For this 12 years, I've been serving the Lord on the extras. God has given me extra love. He has given me extra grace. But He has also given me extra resources.
He blessed Christians with cash money from his coffee sales. In his sermon, the Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, the Right Reverend Wilberforce Chitolu Walira, who is about to retire, says during his tenure as bishop, he faced many challenges, but his trust in God has led him overcome.
Even if they see you so insignificant, you may be natural, but when you understand God, He makes you do wonders and things of you. That is the same God we are talking about. Now that's why I said that every tongue shall profess, and every knee shall kneel down. We say that glory to God.
Hallelujah.
Praise be to God. Praise be to God. Let us clap for Jesus. Let us
Bishop Luwalira assured Christians that being faithful in God is the only way to lead a successful life.
Not because of our faith, not because of our not because of our study, not because we are special. It is because of the Spirit of God.
The conversion was organized by Mission Department with Reverend Samuel Mwonge as their coordinator. Other facilitators included the Archdeacon of Kazo, Venerable Kenneth Sewanyana, Geoffrey Kulubya, former employee of New Vision, Sudat Kaye, and Beatrice Nanziri, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Sudat Kaye and Nanzidi. Chief Justice Alfonso Winidolo has voiced concerns about parents neglecting their responsibilities by allowing their children to be raised by social media. He conveyed this message while presiding over the launch of the book titled The Naked Truth, authored by Dr. Pius Bigirimana, the Secretary to the Judiciary. During the book launch, Dr. Pius Bigirimana and GBC's Senior Administrator Elizabeth Bigirimana celebrated the Silver Jubilee in their marriage. Details follow.
2, 1.
The Chief Justice Alfonso Winidolo has commended Dr. Pius Bigirimana, the author of the book titled The Naked Truth, for impacting knowledge about family values to the public.
System speaking implies a holistic view of the diverse situations in marriage. It embraces the long-term view of life and seeks to postpone immediate gratification in order to ensure lasting benefits. This is a fitting antidote to the instant coffee, microwave, get-it-quick tendencies of this modern-day technology.
He however expressed apprehension about parents who have shirked their duties towards their children, leaving them to be influenced by the digital world.
The internet and what have you, it is children teaching children. It's not adults, it's not elders disseminating knowledge, disseminating experience to the young. What type of learning is that? It's like you go to a classroom and you learn from one another and prepare for exams.
Dr. Pius Bigirimana, the book author, shared the motivation behind his writing during the launch.
After all these years, I'm not an amateur in marriage, so I can counsel. And this experience has served me very well and broadened my understanding of family life and how homes should work. With more than 35 years of experience, more than half of which have put me in contact with recurrent human resource difficulties associated with people's homes. I have counseled families, people at the brink of collapsing and separating and bringing them together.
The book launch coincided with a Silver Jubilee celebration of Pius Bigirimana and Elizabeth Bigirimana's marriage. A special mass for the Jubilee was held at Christ the King Church in Kampala, presided over by Bishop Robert Muhaire Akik of Fort Portal Diocese.
It is a love that calls of us to be patient with one another, even when we have wronged each other, to be able to forgive and begin anew. And this will give us peace of mind and heart. But if we keep a score of wrong, we keep injuring each other.
Bishop Muhaire emphasized the importance of cultivating a God-fearing family.
The Holy Fathers advising us to respect, to strive to learn from the older people, our parents, because they have a lot to teach us. They may not be so much intellectual, but they have experiential knowledge.
The couple expressed their gratitude to God for the journey of their marriage, while friends and children shared their sentiments about the celebrants.
Today's mad rush for material wealth, fame, powerful careers, and the rather simple idea of having fun have introduced a certain type of attitude and behavior in society. This attitude and behavior, when embraced in full, can be counterproductive to the safe conduct of marriage. More frequently than not, marriage calls for self-sacrifice, preferring the needs and desires of others, and swallowing one's pride and ego.
I can't forget sincerely to appreciate our judiciary and UBC families for being to us a home from home. Many of you here and out there know my husband as a tough, hard-working boss. To his family, we know him as a caring, romantic.
Notable figures in attendance included Emyooga's Chief Justice Batka Tre Magunda, Principal Judge Dr. Flavian Nzeija, Director of Public Prosecutions Lady Justice Jane Francis Sabodo, Chief Registrar Sarah Langasiu, judges among other dignitaries.
Years have come and gone. You two have always had each other through the highs and lows. The greatest gift you've given us is the love
think our country and the world would be in the next 25 years. If only we adopt a similar mindset, I'm very sure that we can make an impact.
Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabogudde, UBC News.
South Sudanese students are at higher institution of learning in Uganda have finally been given a free pass waiver by the government of Uganda. The South Sudan ambassador to Uganda, Joach Deng, says that the annual pass exemption follows several engagements between the two governments in honor of the East African Community Protocol. The exemption takes effect in September 2023.
All the other 6 or 5 members of the community were exempted except South Sudan. So this is really not something special that was done for South Sudanese, but it is something that applies to all the members of the community.
Initially, South Sudanese students studying in Uganda were required to pay an annual pass fee of $100 for free movement, which was an additional charge as international students. The mandatory charge was applicable to all South Sudanese students in the higher institutions of learning.
Granted that waiver or reciprocity, which means if they are also Ugandan citizens who are studying in South Sudan, they will also study a student pass free. And this is in line with the EAC protocol.
However, this concern had been raised by the South Sudanese students over the time to their embassy, since students from other East African countries had an exemption.
So it means the school fees will still be in place. So South Sudanese are not going to come to Uganda to study for free. They will have to pay school fees, but they are going to benefit from the scheme that all the other members are benefiting.
Through several engagements between the government of Uganda and that of South Sudan, an agreement was reached to exempt students from paying this annual charge in accordance with the East African Community Protocol. Simon Joach Deng is the South Sudan ambassador to Uganda.
We brought this issue up because until 6th of September, South Sudanese students in learning institutions in Uganda were charged as international students, while others in the East Africa community were being exempted. So we took this thing up with our brothers and sisters in various government institutions, and finally we've been granted that waiver or reciprocity.
An estimated 10,000 South Sudanese students are studying in Uganda, with each initially paying the annual charge on top of the university tuition. Ambassador Simon Joach says with this exemption, the number of South Sudanese students coming to study in Uganda will increase.
I think you should appreciate that South Sudanese are coming here, because in the next 5-10 years, all the leaders in South Sudan will have been people trained in Uganda. So it will really, you would have more influence over that country, because those are people who went to schools with you, they know Uganda here. So doing business or transacting will be easier.
The two friendly governments are also in the process of harmonizing other charges that are still hindering smooth bilateral relations like trade, as well as ensuring safety and security.
If we talk of trade deficit, there is still a big gap, but as brothers and sisters, there is a lot of experience we can pick from here.
Uganda and South Sudan have enjoyed some good bilateral relations for years now. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
In more news, the Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi, has said that no Turkana pastoralists will be allowed to graze their livestock in Uganda until they produce culprits who murdered 3 geologists and the UPDF soldiers in Lotisan Sub-County, Mbarara District last year. Majezi says, whilst representing President Yoweri Museveni at a Karamoja cultural event held in the Park District, where he also handed over the President's contribution of 50 million Ugandan shillings towards the event.
A one-week annual Karamoja cultural event in Matani Town Council Park District has ended. The 8th edition was organized under the theme Preserving Our Cultural Identity and Diversity for Dignified, Peaceful and Resilient Future. The annual cultural event brought together all Ateker ethnic groups like the Karamojong, the Jai of Uganda, Turkana of Kenya, Nyangatom of Ethiopia, and Topasa of South Sudan. The tribes celebrated the traditional dances, food, and dress code, among others. The government of Uganda was represented by the Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi, who delivered the president's message and a contribution of 50 million shillings towards the cultural event.
50 million shillings. I'm handing it over to the chairman, organizing committee.
President Museveni explained that no Turkana pastorists from Kenya will be allowed to graze from Uganda until they produce the culprits who murdered the 3 geologists and the 2 UPDF soldiers in Lotisan sub-county, Moroto district. It should be remembered that 2 guns of fallen soldiers were later handed over to the Ugandan security in Lioma, Turkana County.
His Excellency is telling the people of Turkana that you will not be allowed back unless you bring here the people who killed our geologists.
The Karamojong want the annual event to be fully sponsored by government, which the minister promised to front. Majezi hailed the Karamojong for the rich culture and advised them to document it.
As far as I've seen other cultures, it is probably true that Karamoja will be having the most dynamic, the most unifying, the most vibrant culture, not only in Uganda but probably in Africa.
However, Karamoja parliamentary chairperson Remigio Achia says they want a clear strategy of peace and security in Karamoja in order to eradicate poverty.
A clear, consistent strategy of sustainable peace and security in Karamoja for the next 30 years.
The one-week cultural event was characterized by visiting of historical sites in Napak district, women engagement dialogues, youth, elders and crowd leaders dialogues, traditional games, Mr. and Mrs. Culture, cultural parade, and processions, among others. The function was attended by top security leaders in Karamoja, politicians, people from the 9 districts of Karamoja, Teso, Kenya, South Sudan, and Ethiopia.
The number of children attending school has been on a steady increase ever since government rolled out universal education, though pockets of school dropouts and absenteeism continue to inversely dent the program. Now, an international Dutch NGO with financial support from European Union through the Belgian development arm, Enabel, is supporting selected schools in central Uganda and Lango sub-region, though through the EduQ app project to create synergies for improving the quality of education in primary schools. John Bansentamo reports.
A study by Netherlands' best non-government organization, the Educans Uganda, has established that 3 out of every 10 pupils who enter primary 1 manage to complete primary 7 and continue to the next level. In a research carried out in central Uganda and Lango sub-region, the numbers of learners under universal primary education institutions did not have good infrastructure that led to high school dropouts and absenteeism.
More schools are in these communities, more children are in these communities, and the outreach arm of the COA PTC, for them to support the schools well, we need a restructuring. We need more coordinating centers to be able to support schools very well, but also we need them to be capacitated.
While disseminating achievements of the EduQ app project to the officers from the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Executive Director Educans Uganda, Pamela Ketho, expressed desire to engage stakeholders in Uganda to improve quality in the education sector.
A child comes from home, and that means that the role of the parent is very key in ensuring that the child goes to school, stays in school, and completes school. Number two, when the child leaves home and comes to school, the child needs to find a teacher. So a teacher is a key stakeholder. And then number three, we want to see how the rest of the community gets involved in the life of the child. We have the school management committees and PTAs that are involved in ensuring that the school environment or the learning environment can easily support children to retain in school.
Pamela adds that through the EduQ app project, they are making a significant impact on school enrollment, retention, and completion rates by enhancing the role of school management committees and parent-teacher associations. The Assistant Commissioner of Primary Education, Robert Equip, says the EduQ app school improvement project has come at a time when the Ministry of Education, under the Basic Education Department, is reviewing the policy of the School Management Committee guidelines.
But also to review the roles. These guidelines were developed more than 10 years ago. And so it is high time we reviewed them.
As per the Uganda Education Act 2008, the school management committees are entrusted with managing schools on behalf of the government. Working hand in hand with parent-teacher associations, they play a crucial role in ensuring quality education.
The role of school management committees is very critical. The SMCs are representatives of government in our primary schools.
However, feedback from district education officers and EduQ CAD assessments has revealed some key challenges. Operating in the districts of Nakaseke, Luwero and Nakasongola in central Uganda, and Apache and Kwanya in Lango sub-region, the project pairs a school improvement with quality assurance and teacher professional development via core primary teachers' colleges as hubs for knowledge and support.
But there is improvement, especially in quality, because now with the intervention of this, with the government and even the implementation partners, we are moving in the right direction to see that there is quality teaching and learning going on.
Where we see a bigger gap is on infrastructural development. Infrastructures within our schools are somehow not rhyming with the overwhelming population of the learners, and also the standard, especially when it comes to basic items that are needed within our school system.
Over 15,200 individuals, including school management and parent-teacher associations members, community stakeholders, sub-county leaders, district education officials, political leaders, teachers, children, and child club tutors were interviewed in this initiative.
Climate activists within the Debt for Climate movement are raising concerns about the actions of multilateral lenders like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, accusing them of perpetrating what they call colonialism 2.0, a new form of financial imperialism. They argue that these lenders' financial policies have pushed many global South countries into debt distress, hampering their ability to address pressing challenges such as climate change. Details follow.
Activists representing diverse indigenous voices are advocating for the cancellation of all debt owed by global South countries to the global North. Many African countries are burdened by significant debt owed to institutions like the World Bank and IMF, hindering their long-term social and economic development.
So we are in debt trap diplomacy, being engineered by the global North, and we are also facing debt. We are facing financial imperialism and financial dictatorship. So why? Because all this started from the time of slave trade, colonialism. When Europeans came here, so they took most of our resources and even our labor, and meaning we demand them something. So they have to pay us for the crimes they committed those days.
The Debt for Climate movement is exerting pressure on the global North countries to relieve global South nations of their debt burden. This relief would enable these nations to allocate resources towards climate mitigation, adaptation, and resilience-building efforts.
Polluters must compensate for the devastation that they have caused on our environment and the lives of people who are bearing the brunt of the climate crisis.
We are trying to engage the IMF and the World Bank on all platforms that are available so that they can be able to understand where the issue of debt cancellation is coming from and the graveness of the issue and how it is affecting thousands and millions of lives in Africa and the global South.
As a consequence of their debt obligations, stressed global South countries, especially in Africa, are driven to exploit environmentally harmful natural resources like oil and coal to generate income for servicing their debt and achieving economic growth targets.
Why do we have a fight with the World Bank? Because they give loans to corrupt governments for projects that are ill-defined, that are not fit for purpose. They charge us different interest rates in the global South to what they charge in the global North, with more onerous conditions that benefit the global North because they want to perpetuate a system of what we call colonialism 2.0, a new form of colonialism, financial colonialism. And then when we ask for renegotiation, they insist on structural adjustment programs. So they tell us that we must curb our wage increases for our workers. They put conditions on us that say when they give us the loans, we must prefer a procurement from companies in the global North. So these are the levers they pull to entrench a system that enslaves Africa, and we must unshackle ourselves.
Cancellation of these trillions of dollars in debt is viewed as a crucial step in curbing the climate crisis, especially considering that 17 out of the 20 most climate-affected countries are in Africa. Extreme climatic events are becoming increasingly common, not only in Uganda but globally.
You can ask how quickly the fires broke out in Maui in Hawaii, how quickly it flooded in Italy, how quickly it flooded in Canada, how quickly the fires raged. It will be upon us. We are facing this year in the global South and in Southern Africa the start of the El Nino phenomenon. Climate scientists predict that it will be particularly harsh over the next 2 or 3 years.
When you look at my country, Uganda, the climate crisis or climate change is transforming every inhabited region in Uganda. When you see the eastern part, there have been so many landslides taking place and floodings that have disrupted the economy in the east and also life, schools destroyed, agriculture.
The willingness of the global North to address this issue will most likely influence global South countries with low emissions to secure meaningful representation in climate negotiations. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Sent to transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
In this family, we can't agree on anything.
Martha.
We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndowoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Uncle, you should see London.
Oh, my boy. This has been 5 years. You should see Uganda.
Yes. Uncle Marcus, this is my former school.
See, soon there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
This is impressive. Do you even have connection out here?
Well, we have 100% 4G countrywide.
Okay.
We even have 5G too.
That's approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings in tax, making Airtel one of the largest corporate income taxpayers over the last 5 years, helping build a better Uganda.
Today your son saw our new Uganda.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
Uganda is a source, transit, and destination for adults and children who are either forced or deceived into forced labor, organ harvest, sacrifice, and commercial exploitation. Trafficking in persons is a serious crime and gross violation of human rights. Report suspects of trafficking in persons to police for investigation and prosecution. Suspects are either close friends or relatives. Victims of trafficking are not criminals and need protection. This message is brought to you by the Coordination Office for Prevention of Trafficking in Persons, Ministry of Internal Affairs.
The President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will officially launch West International Holdings Uganda, a groundbreaking cement plant in Moroto, Karamoja, on Tuesday, 12 September 2023. The $300 million project will produce over 6,000 tons per day, with first clinker expected mid-2025. This project is to bring cost-effective and environmentally sound modern production capacity to Uganda, transforming into a regional clinker and cement production hub, supporting the future development of not only Uganda, but also Southern Sudan and Eastern DRC with value addition inside East African community. This project will eliminate Uganda's dependence on imported clinker with local manufacturing. All guests are required to test for COVID-19 before the D-Day.
Hello, Mom. How did you sleep? How is Salongo? Oh, Mommy, how is Grandma? And Simba, the dog, yeah, the funny one.
Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel Bona voice bundles. Dial *100*1#, select Call Bona to choose bundles from as low as 1,000 shillings from daily, weekly, monthly, or bundles that don't expire. Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In our business stories, the resident District Commissioner of Kamwenge, Isaiah Byarugaba, accompanied by a delegation of Emyooga leaders from Wakiso District, has commended the Microfinance Support Center for its effective disbursement of Emyooga seed funds. This commendation highlights how these revolving funds are significantly enhancing the economic well-being of communities in Kamwenge, Kasese, Bunyangabo and Bondibujo districts.
During a meeting with Emyooga leaders from the Central Region as part of an exchange visit organized by the Microfinance Support Center, Kamwenge's resident district commissioner passionately described poverty as a formidable force. He asserted that the Emyooga initiative is a powerful tool to eradicate poverty within communities. Emyooga has transformed Kamwenge into the regional food basket, enabling local residents to engage in food production enterprises.
Kamwenge, we are fairly doing well in terms of Emyooga performance. Like on average, we receive around 20 trucks per week coming from Rwanda, all the way from Rwanda, Congo, and the rest of the country. So that shows that Kamwenge is doing well in terms of food production. It has improved the infrastructure development of the area.
In Chibale East, the Emyooga Circle in Nkoma, Katalieva Town Council provided an 83-year-old Aston Bigongo from Katalieva village with an 11 million shilling loan to invest in commercial farming. Similarly, Militon Musherure from Mutwe village used the funds to start a successful chicken brooding business, significantly improving his economic situation.
I'm now rich
and I really see myself I'm okay. I started to bring to buy the cows. I started to buy the goats, as you have seen there down.
The success of Chibali producer dealers Emyooga Sacco has inspired other regions to replicate the model. Emyooga is seen as a catalyst for positive change among communities.
The Emyooga Sacco has helped us from these moneylenders who are taking a lot of things and even land from the community. So when the Emyooga came, people now are settled because the interest is very low.
Hima Community Sacco in Kasese District, established in 2008, now educates Emyooga Sacco leaders to prioritize member ownership and creativity. With a share capital of 148 million shillings, they boast of over 1.5 billion shillings worth of assets.
For the message I can give the Emyooga Saccos is to mobilize for shares, because that is a permanent capital in the business. They should ensure that the management that is entrusted with the funds of the members is well guarded by people who are competent and people who are effective.
In Bunyangabu District, Bunyangabu constituency market vendors Emyooga Sacco, established in 2021 with a seed capital of 30 million shillings, now has over 700 members and 99 registered groups. Members utilized affordable loans to invest in various businesses with an impressive loan recovery rate of 85%.
Men, women, youth have benefited from this program because a member has at least managed to pay school fees for his or her child in schools, and others have improved their business, they have boosted their business. At least they are doing well in the markets, because we have very many market vendors who goes and sell their products in the market.
In Bundibujo District, support from the Microfinance Support Center has allowed Bwamba United Restaurant owners Emyooga to expand operations and significantly improve the livelihoods of its members.
And we have used their money. We have also developed now, like some of our members, they started getting good loans and developing their restaurants, which are now upgraded. And we are even getting trainings from other people from outside who teach us what we are really doing.
In a unanimous observation, the Central Buganda visiting delegation concurred that Emyooga Saccos are not just about financial growth, but also about empowering beneficiaries with skills and opportunities to thrive in various fields, thereby contributing to the local economy. Sudat Kaye and Robert Waita, UBC.
Set to transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN mobile money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN, and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
The President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will officially launch West International Holdings Uganda, a groundbreaking cement plant in Moroto, Karamoja, on Tuesday, 12 September 2023. The $300 million project will produce over 6,000 tons per day, with first clinker expected mid-2025. This project is to bring cost-effective and environmentally sound modern production capacity to Uganda, transforming into a regional clinker and cement production hub, supporting the future development of not only Uganda, but also Southern Sudan and Eastern DRC with value addition inside East African Community. This project will eliminate Uganda's dependence on imported clinker with local manufacturing. All guests are required to test for COVID-19 before the D-Day.
Uncle, you should see London. Oh, my boy. This has been 5 years. You should see Uganda. Yes. Uncle Marcus, huh? That's my former school.
See, soon there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
This is impressive. Do you even have connection out here?
Well, we have 100% 4G countrywide.
Okay.
We even have 5G too.
That's approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings in tax, making Airtel one of the largest corporate income taxpayers over the last 5 years, helping build a better Uganda.
Today, your son saw our new Uganda.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
Well, you're welcome once again to the last segment of UBC News Tonight today at 8. That started off at 8 p.m. and about to come to an end. And in our sports stories, the Singleton Match Play Challenge continued to providing reverting action, climaxed with a tremendous 19th hole that many enjoyed. Our reporter watched the action and now reports.
Arguably Uganda's most prestigious amateur golf tournament, the Singleton Match Play Challenge, is now down to the last 8 pairs. This after a round of 16 at the Par 71 Entebbe Golf Club that was followed by a fun-filled Hole 19 experience.
As Singleton and UBL, we're excited to be part of it. You know, UBL's purpose is about celebrating life every day, everywhere. And for us, this is a big celebration for us with the Entebbe Golf Club. So we have had this tournament on for the last 6-7 years with Singleton headlining. And it's really important for us as a company that we support sports in Uganda. So another round of Singleton match day play, we're really excited on how it's gone. And I think what's exciting about today is also the theme that we have. So today is a retro theme on the 19th hole. So fantastic golf during the day, but also a fantastic experience on the 19th hole.
Action that included the main draw and a subsidiary category was spiced by a visiting delegation from Mombasa's Nyali Club.
We've come here with a group of friends for a golf tour. And today we decided to play here and we are really enjoying the course. It's an amazing, beautiful course. The trees, amazing, it's just amazing. And the fairways, wow.
In the main draw, Entebbe Club captain Serwan Walusimbi and Peter Magona edged Kenya High Commissioner to Uganda George Owino and Sarah Nduhukire.
It's not my best performance personally, but it's the hardest performance. We had to dig deep to get this win. These guys were not easy at all. They were not easy. Okay. It was really mental, and it was just really mental strength to put us through.
Also through to the next round include Michael Rodur and Brian Mayimbo, Robert Businji and Innocent Nahabwe, and Richard Muchunguzi and Saidi Kirapira. Others are Joseph Bogera and Kenneth Kidu, Conrad Odera and Ram Shaban, Jimmy Adiga and Johnson Dairo, and Moses Sebugwao and Charles Odera.
It's been a tough round. I mean, I last played a couple of weeks back because of my work schedule. The team who were playing today was extremely tough because literally they were stroking on each hole, and we had to maximize our best shots really.
The date for the next round of this Uganda Breweries Limited Sponsored Championship that also has Uganda Airlines, NCBA Bank and DSTV as partners will be known later. John Barnes, Centamo, UBC News.
Thank you for watching UBC News Tonight. Do join me again at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Chumdisha, and stay tuned for more programming on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda.
UBC